Well, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this video. Today, I want to talk to you about the need for more volunteers. I'm sure you've been there where you're asking yourself, I need some more volunteers. Where do I find volunteers? Where are they all at? So hopefully you've never experienced this, but showing up to a youth event, youth service, and there's like one other volunteer, and there seems to be like every single crazy junior hire showing up and just going buck wild. But hopefully that hasn't been you, but I've experienced it a few times, and so it's not a fun environment to be in. It's not a good time. So how do you avoid that moment, or when you're like running around? You're cooking the hot dogs. You're also, trying to run the sound. You're also running over here to try and, put together the sermon, all kinds of, you're just doing everything at once. How do you avoid that? Because that's not where we want to be. That's for sure. So how do you avoid that? Well, here's one thing I want to talk about. One thing is that often I see is that people try to have one level of leader, and that level is all in, all the time, never ending. Okay. And that's just really tough for a volunteer to commit to. Is like it's like a eternal sentence, lifetime sentence to Wednesday night, Sunday night, whatever it might be. And so I want to encourage you guys to think about having some levels of different commitment. Okay, so maybe you have a very entry level of commitment called like a chaperone, and maybe this person just chaperones events. They're not even there on your normal Wednesday night services or Sunday night services, but they show up to chaperone events. Or maybe they do volunteer for your youth services, but their role is to go pick students up or drop students off, but they're not really in the service. These are kind of special occasion or one-offs. Another level might be like the cooks, some help in the kitchen, right? Maybe you cook some meal before service. Maybe you have some snacks before service. Again, that's another level of a leader, volunteer that can just be around to help out. So you're not running around. Maybe another level is those technician types, right? Like they're able to run the lights and the sound, and they're able to even help with worship and things like that. But again, they're not really hands-on with the students. Okay. But then maybe you have maybe some adult volunteers that help out with things like security, or they help out with just kind of like assistant small group leaders or assistant things like that, where it's a lower level, where maybe they can't show up every week. Maybe they can't show up, maybe they want to show up once or twice a month. Maybe they don't want to be involved, at that deep level, but then maybe you do have a higher level and a higher level. And so I want to encourage you to think about some different roles, some different levels, and maybe some different time commitments. Maybe some people say, "Man, I want to volunteer. I'm available to volunteer for this school year or this semester." Well, is it all or nothing? I know some groups ask people to start with like a freshman group and graduate with them all the way to high school. So you're basically asking somebody for a 4-year commitment every Wednesday night or every Sunday night. I just think that's a little bit tough to ask a volunteer to commit to that level. So are there some different things that you could do, some different tiers, some different levels? Again, maybe having multiple small group leaders so that way they can rotate through different nights. Hey, I can't be there every Wednesday night, I can't be there every Sunday night, but we can rotate through. So I want to encourage you, think through some different levels of commitment, think through some different time frames of commitment, and then think through their level of involvement with students, right? So again, maybe it's someone who's just brand new to the faith. Maybe you don't just throw them straight in and say, okay, you're going to be involved with everything. You're going to be a small group leader. You're discipling. It's like they need to be discipled, not discipling. Okay. So think through these different levels of commitment. And when you're asking people, you can then gauge where they're at. And so for me, what I find is that oftentimes people move in those levels of commitment. Maybe they start off working in the kitchen. They kind of get to know a couple of students and like, man, I really enjoy these students. I want to be involved a little bit more. And then they moved into a small group leader for maybe a couple of years. And then maybe their job changes. And then maybe they got to move back down into more of a chaperone role or something like that. So you need to increase your volunteer base, offer more options than just the all or nothing. Okay. So offer up some different levels. So that way more people can be involved at different levels. I think it's going to help you out. Hopefully you enjoy this video. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.